Okay, so this morning I thought I'm about to do the Scorpio reading, and it's like, you know what, I'm going to go online and do this one, and I might get to Sagittarius one as well. I like to go live because I feel like sometimes if you're out and about and the bell does ring for you, you can at least get a chance to pop in and say hello, which is really nice. I've been trying to get the members for a while, but that's been a little bit hard because I know that some of the members live overseas. But anyway, if you are interested in becoming a member or you just want to support my channel, you can join with the button, membership button or the join button. If you can't join from your phone, I understand you've got to be on the computer, on a laptop, or on the main site to get. Hey, Lisa, how are you going? First up, to actually engage with that. So if you're interested and you're not sure, then you need to go to the main YouTube site rather than the app. So we're going to do the reading for Scorpio online. Actually, I might still do my blurb a little bit and then people can ask questions. If you identify as a Scorpio, it's more than likely that that is your sun sign. So if I said to you, what sign are you? You would say Scorpio. But it's only one component of who you are. And a lot of people sort of stick with that and they'll say to me, the Scorpio readings never resonate with me. Well, funny that, because I'm a Capricorn and the Capricorn readings don't always resonate with me either. But my moon sign, which is Libra, resonates with me quite a lot. So I always feel, for me, my moon sign is more, I suppose, dominant for me. But it could be that you would find your rising or your ascendant more relatable with readings. But you can watch all three. And if you wanted to find out about love, then you would find your Venus sign, because your Venus sign talks about your love language. So very often your Venus is one to watch. So for example, Capricorn sun, Libra moon, I have Scorpio rising, and then I have my Venus in Aquarius. So I can watch any of those. How are you, Moira? How are you, Lisa? Oh, I spoke to Lisa before. How are you, Sharon? Scorpio, Sagittarius cusp. So you've got a bigger bonus than most of us, because when you're on the cusp, you also get both of those signs as well. So people often say to me, I'm on the cusp, but I relate more to this particular sign than I do to the other. So you become sort of a little bit sort of fluid in that regard. So good. Yeah, you get the extra when you're on the cusp of a sign. So if you are interested in finding out more about that, you just Google natal chart or birth chart and put in the details of your birth. You'll need to know the date of your birth and you will need to know where you were born. And they are the most important things. But if you have your time of birth, then you can find your ascendant or your rising, which is really cool. And then you can print up a report that has all those things in it. So when I first did it, I read it and I was like, okay, that's really interesting, but I'll go back and have a look at it later. And there were things in there that really, they resonated, but there were other things that really conflicted. But as time went by, I started to really understand how that affected me as a person. So Moira, you're a Pisces sun, Pisces moon, Cap rising. Capricorn, see, that's what I'm talking about. The Capricorn is the most accurate, which in your rising. Now, I tried to do this before and I've actually posted it for everyone after I'd spoken last time, because I think your sun sign's the person you show to the world, but the moon sign is your emotional self or the person that you are inside. But your Scorpio, if you've got a Scorpio rising or Capricorn rising, that is the person that you really are. You truly are showing to the world. So if you said to somebody, what sign do you think I am? A lot of the time they will pick your rising or your ascendant. So it is good to have the time of birth. If you don't have your time of birth, see that the ascendant or rising changes constantly in the chart, whereas a lot of the other planets when you're born are pretty standstill. They're there for sometimes years before they move. But they are pretty standstill, whereas your rising or your ascendant moves constantly. So over a 24-hour period, there might be 12 different stars within that. And you can get it worked out for you if you go and see an astrologist. They can work it out from the timelines of your birth birth time. Or if you have a rough idea, like if somebody says, oh, you were born in the morning, sometimes you can do that yourself by going back and reading the particular signs to see whether they resonate with you or not. So it is really good to look at. It is a lot of fun. And it also, you can use it for your best matches as well. So I think Cafe Astrology allows you to match people with yourself to see how you would get along. Not that I take that one too seriously, because sometimes you can meet someone who is completely the opposite to you and still find that you get along really well. All right, let's get into Scorpio. So thank you for joining me. It's nice to have some people on board. So we're starting off this reading of Scorpio with the Queen of Pentacles. Capricorn energy there. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo energy. So you could be dealing with an earth sign. It could be that you are in this energy at this time, which means that you're feeling very connected, very natural. You might be on a little bit of a journey ethically when I see this card. So, realizing that you need to put more effort into looking after the planet, that sort of energy. But it feels like a person to me, not so much an energy. All right, so we have the Page of Wands coming through and the Emperor coming through behind that. There's some sort of communication coming through to you here from somebody who could be an earth sign. I feel like with the Emperor here that you may be really receptive to this communication. So it doesn't feel to me like there's a problem or issue. This could be a date. It could be an invitation to go somewhere. Remember, it's not always romantic. It could be that somebody's asking you if you want to join them somewhere, inviting you to a party, whatever. But there's definitely communication coming through. I feel like with the Emperor, look, there's a brand new beginning. I feel like with the Emperor here, that it is somebody you see as extremely important to you. Now, it might not mean that they're important as in it could be a work colleague. It could be somebody communicating with you that wants to invite you somewhere, yes, but it could be a person at work who's inviting you to apply for a role or a job because they think you're really suitable. But when the Emperor comes through, I know that you're dealing with a divine masculine. So it could be that this person is really important to you at a love level, but it can also mean this person has a lot of influence. So there is a brand new beginning coming with the Fool. So it is about, and look at that, Three of Pentacles. You've got somebody on your path here who is meant or is destined to come to you at this time. Oh, this is the Ethereal Tarot. I always talk about this one because it's all gold embossed. Even the devil's cute. It is beautiful, the Ethereal Tarot. So it is one of my favourite decks. But yeah, it's beautiful. And it's really quite hardy too. Some of the decks, you buy them and within 5 minutes they're already getting frayed. But this one I've had for a while. I've used it quite a lot. So it could be a romantic encounter. It could be with that Emperor there, somebody you've been waiting to hear from. But I feel really strongly that whoever this is very important to you at a deep level. All right, so we have the Six of Wands, the Victory card coming straight out of the gate here with the Six of Cups. It may be somebody you've known before, somebody that you've had contact with. The Ten of Pentacles coming through, which came through in the What's Cracking reading, and the Four of Swords. There is a period of time here. So it could be that this person, you've known this person from your past, or you may have had contact with them, you may have worked with them, but it feels to me like you've already had some contact with them along the way. Doesn't mean that you've had a romantic relationship with them. It means that I'm feeling like there's already been some, especially with that Three of Pentacles coming through, there's been some former energy passed between you. Let's just keep going. I have the Ace of Pentacles. Very, very nice. It's a beautiful card in this deck. With the Four of Pentacles. Somebody that you've wondered about. There's the King. So it may be somebody that has crossed your path at some stage or another, that you've had a very close connection with, but you've maybe always wondered about them or always been curious. This is the sort of energy I get when you've been to school with someone or you've worked with someone that you have that great connection with, but nothing ever really comes of it. And because I've got the King of Pentacles, it could have been that they were somebody that was connected to somebody else too. All right, so we have here the Page of Pentacles with the Five of Swords. It's very likely that you lost contact with this person. The Two of Pentacles coming through with the Nine of Wands. I feel like, quite honestly, this makes me feel like perhaps you fell in love with somebody that it's that the Romeo and Juliet thing, you know, the star-crossed lovers thing, you know, where you've sort of met someone and you've had this really strong connection with them, but it's never really gone anywhere. And that is okay too. And it's like you're either, with that Page of Wands, it could be sort of an inopportune sort of meeting where you've bumped into somebody you haven't seen for a long while. I just feel this sort of feeling of knowing someone and maybe having some feelings there, but not really having a relationship with them. But that could be too. You could have had a fling, or you could have had a very casual relationship with them, but maybe it just didn't really take off. This person looks like they're coming around again. I do see communication. Interesting that you have come up with the Queen of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles is here as well. So there does seem to be a very strong connection between the two of you. This could be somebody you've seen as the one that got away, or the divine masculine. That's very likely too. And again, the one that got away, you don't necessarily have had to have a relationship with them, but there is a connection here that has never been broken. So there is a brand new beginning with this person. And obviously with the Three of Pentacles, for me, that is somebody who is meant to be in your life. So they are either returning, making contact, or sort of picking up where they left off, basically. All right, let's just give these cards a little bit shuffle. And we'll pull an oracle card. Interesting energy there. Feel like this is a really big surprise for you. So it could be that you're bumping into somebody somewhere. Oh golly, I've been halfway around the world and bumped into somebody I haven't seen for years. It's strange. I remember being on holidays and bumping into a next door neighbour. We didn't know they were going overseas, which was a bit odd. All right, Scorpio. So you've got the obstacles card coming through, or the card of the wall. It is card 56, if that means something to you. Being inconvenienced by life, detours and non-action. There are moments in your life when you are so geared up, so sure you're on track with such drive and momentum that you are shocked and confused when you encounter a wall. I wonder if this person's a wall for you. This unpredictability occurs outside your ability to plan, regardless of if you've done everything right in alignment with the divine. So I feel like that's probably what it's talking about, because it says life on life's terms will override your best laid plans. So it's very possible that this person could be somebody that's going to put a bit of a spanner in the works. All right, Scorpio, let's move on. Thank you. We're going to do Sagittarius next. So I'm just thinking, sometimes when you use the same deck and the same cards come out, people will question, and I think so. I'm going to use another deck. So we'll use the Tarot of the Golden Wheel, which too is a very beautiful deck. These are both quite large decks too, and they're really nice to use on screen, but they're a little harder to shuffle. Both beautiful decks though. I haven't bought a tarot deck in ages because I had so many of them that I'd bought that I really, it's a beautiful deck. Sometimes I buy tarot decks and they just don't resonate with me at all. So I use them, but I just don't connect. I guess it's like reading a book. You know, I remember, picking up books that people recommended to me, and I just never was able to get into them. And some books I could read, several times before I found that connection. And other books, like Memoirs of a Geisha, I never read because I just could not get into it. And doing this course at the moment with the literature, some of the books they ask you to read are really hard to read. And I've just finished Frankenstein. Good morning. How are you, Hawk Spirit? Frankenstein. It was a hard book to get into, but once I got into it, I really enjoyed it. But I read a book before that, which was called The Heart of Darkness, and it was the hardest book I've ever read. I read it so many times, and it just, my mind just, if I'm not engaged, my mind just wanders off. So it's a bit the same with tarot cards. You've got to really have that connection with them. And if the connection isn't there, you don't get the readings you want. Sagittarius, this is your reading, and we're starting off with the Ace of Cups here. I love it. Another love reading, I would say, after the Scorpio one. So if you're on the cusp there, it would not surprise me that, Lisa, if you've got love coming towards you, or you've got a new phase in your love life, which is often the case. So, you know, when people move in together, get engaged, get the offer of marriage, that sort of thing, sometimes this sort of reading can just mean you're moving to the next stage of a relationship. Hey, Sue, how are you going? Member on board. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got the Ace of Cups being followed by the King of Swords. So we're looking at, it's very interesting, isn't it? Libra, Gemini, Aquarius here. Oh, Tuesday, Toronto. Yeah, you're a day behind. We're actually a few hours behind New Zealand. So New Zealand lead the world, then Australia, then it sort of phases everybody else in. Some people, I know England's only about 12 hours, but some people, yes, you'd be the day before. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll get on with this so we don't get stuck. So Libra, Gemini, Aquarius coming your way here. I want to say that I feel like this person may be a teacher or somebody who works in whereabouts in the USA are you, Lisa? I'm sure we've spoken online before. Because the USA has like 5 time zones, same as Canada. Where in Australia, we're really quite a large country, we only have, well, technically 2 or 3 time zones, but that can vary a little bit with daylight saving. Oh, Florida, beautiful, very nice. I'm going to get there one day. It's on my bucket list. So big storms going on. Oh, that's not good. It's been a really weird summer, hasn't it? Like the heat here has been quite good. Like we've only been like 28, 29, 30, but the humidity has been like 80, 90%. So sleeping at night has been really quite hard. Anyway, so I feel like this person here is coming in here. You do have the 7 of Swords following this, and then the King of Cups and the 7 of Wands. I feel like, 9 of Pentacles. I was going to say, I feel like you're not ready or you're not interested in a relationship at the moment. So what it makes me feel like, Sagittarius, is that something is going to be offered to you that is a really like something perhaps that you've thought about, but I'm not really sure that you're really in the space for a relationship at the moment. And that is really strange, because I can remember the exact situation before I met my current partner, where I'd been pretty much single for 9 years. I actually really understood what it meant to be single and be really comfortable with where you are. I can't say that I felt that way in the beginning. So the first few years was not a struggle. I didn't get lonely or anything like that, but I wanted to have someone in my life. I kept thinking it would be lovely to have a long-term partner, but nothing seemed to gel with me. And I did meet a couple of really, really lovely guys, but I just wasn't feeling it. So I got to the point in the last 2 or 3 years where I was like, you know what, I really like this. My house was always clean and tidy because I only had myself to look after. Didn't have any rules. I could jump in the car and go on holidays for, a week by myself. I could do whatever I pleased. And I actually started to get really, really comfortable with that. Not that I didn't date or meet people along the way. It just wasn't what I wanted. I just couldn't sort of relate. And as I said, it was nothing to do with other people. I found people really interesting and I really enjoyed going out, but I just didn't get, not all of them. But I just didn't really gel with that. And I'd got to the point in the last couple of years where I was totally and utterly comfortable by myself. And then in walked Jeff. And I feel like I was like that. I was like the energy that's coming through for the Sagittarius reading, where I was like, do I really want to be in a relationship? I really liked him. We got on extremely well. We spent most days on the phone talking, but he lived 5.5 hours away from me. So I was like, I don't know if I want to move again. I don't know whether I want to do this again. I'm really comfortable by myself. And that's your energy, Sagittarius. It's like, I'm not really sure this is what I want. So let's see how we go. Look at this, Ace of Swords coming straight out. With the Queen of Swords, how interesting. I had the King of Swords in there, and in the last reading I used a different deck and got both of them too. I also have the Star card coming through with the Queen of Wands. I can't help thinking with this Queen of Wands energy that Sagittarius are really, really killing it at the moment. There is a real strong energy that you're feeling really good. You may have invested a lot of time and energy in yourself. You've done your healing and you're feeling very confident. I also feel like because you've got the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands flanking that Star card, that you're more than likely in the best place you've ever been in. The Ace of Swords, for me, like I always say, this is about standing in your truth, being true to who you are. So I feel like here, if somebody's going to walk into your life, they would need to be extra specially good. All right, and here comes the Chariot. Could be a Cancer you're meeting with the Ten of Pentacles, somebody who wants exactly the same things as you, and in comes the Fool card. To me, this is somebody you're meeting here that you may not be initially interested in relationship-wise. I feel whatever this is, though, there is a definite interest in the person. So I feel like there is a beginning here, but somehow it makes me feel like maybe you're going to just really start with that whole friendship thing, have fun with it, but you're not going to really jump into anything too soon. The Six of Wands, which is the Victory card, is a very nice reading. Two of Pentacles, as I said, there's some sort of decision you're going to make here. And the Eight of Cups. Will the Eight of Cups mean you're going to walk away from your single life and decide you're going to go for the relationship? Or does it mean you're going to walk away from the relationship because you are not really wanting to change where you are? There you go. So I feel like here, especially with this energy, that you're meeting someone who's really on the same page as you. You're meeting someone who's eye to eye. Maybe they're not really sure they want something more either, but I think because of the connection, you might be ready to sort of put in the energy, even if it's only a friendship. But I feel like somehow it's going to be a lot more, but that's where you're starting point. That means to me that you've done a lot of work on yourself to realize the best way to have a solid relationship is to build that friendship layer first. Really get to know the person. Because sometimes if we rush things, we think we know someone well, but further down the track, it doesn't pan out the way that you thought it was going to. So I definitely feel there is love here. And it does feel like you have an air sign. But I do have Aquarius, Cancer in the reading as well. And a little bit of Pisces energy coming through. But there is a lot of fire and ice, I want to say. There is a lot of that energy of Wands and Swords. So this person, I feel, is a really, really good balance for you. It's a Cancer for you. Well, there you go. Interesting. Yeah, my one's a Cancer too. But I feel like this person sort of matches your energy very well. I feel like everything is good, but this is, to me, this energy of not being careful you don't sabotage something. I wouldn't be, especially with this King of Cups, I feel like this person is going to be exactly what you want in a person. I just am not sure that you want to take the chance on them at the moment. So taking it slow seems to be the order of the day, and allowing the relationship to sort of coast in rather than push it forward. All right, Sagittarius, let's read you a Shaman's Dream Oracle card. Okay, and we'll do Capricorn next time. I do like being online for these. It's really nice to connect with you, so thank you for joining me here. Whereabouts? Oh, that's right, you said car. Kakaka. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay, I'll have to look it up. All right, Sagittarius, pulling you an oracle card. There it is, in the hand. The universe is your partner. Very nice. Card 31. Oh, I went straight to it too. You know, I love that when you do that. It just, some days the card just, it doesn't matter where it is in the book, the page will open automatically for me. This is feeling secure and taken care of, and the universe is your partner. So this is a beautiful card to get on that reading. Something amazing happens when you contemplate your intimate relationship with your higher power. How do you engage it? Perhaps you might have seen things through the influence of your religious background, or you may have been exposed to other ways of making that connection feel real for you. It doesn't matter the source of your understanding. What matters is what works for you. I feel like here, it says you may find it easier to surrender to a relationship of radical trust. So somehow or another, I feel like this particular relationship is being guided to you. I feel, quite honestly, because it's really talking about you just being able to, great, Chris. Well, if you're a Libra cusp, yeah. How old is Tilly now? Three. And she is, oh my goodness, she's a powerhouse. Isn't that amazing? Thank you for asking. She is a powerhouse of a kid. She is so spunky. She is just the only child in my daughter's family that doesn't have autism. So out of 5 children, she's this sort of neurotypical kid. She is stubborn. She's a typical, if you read about a Sagittarius, she would be a typical Sagittarius. She's fiery. She's, oh my goodness, she's just a powerhouse of a kid. I absolutely love her, but she is so challenging for her mother. It's crazy. So I don't know if it's because it's Sarah's youngest child or whether it's because she is a Sagittarius child. She's like you, yeah. And I'm not a fan of saying, oh, everything about this person is this particular sign. But when we're looking at younger children and those stereotypical sort of attributes, I know they're going to change over time, but as she is at the moment, she is just all of that. And she did this. She was doing this thing like a few months ago where every time you look at her, she say, go away, go away. So absolutely gorgeous child. She's very different to Sarah's other children. She's got lovely red hair, and very fair skin like her father. All the rest of Sarah's kids, well, no, Oscar has red hair as well. But his red hair is like really that real deep auburn, whereas Tilly's hair is like strawberry blonde. I should put some pictures up for you. If I can remember, I'll try and remember. But she's just a powerhouse of a kid. She just absolutely so outgoing, very people oriented. She's really smart. Like you can say something to her and she totally understands what you're saying. And she talks a lot. So, Heart of Darkness is the worst. Look, I liked the book as a story. I thought the story was really good. But it wasn't very engaging all the way through the book. So I didn't really, once I got to the end and I understood the story, I quite enjoyed the storyline, but the book itself wasn't engaging. Wuthering Heights I haven't tried yet. I've got the only book of the 5 that I haven't read, so is Jane Eyre, which started, which is fine. That's interesting to know, Joan. I have to do that. Good. So Jane Eyre's a good one. There were a lot of short stories that we read. So I'm trying to think what other books I read. Frankenstein. Metamorphosis by Frank Kafka. I loved that book. It's only a novella. Which is what the other one's supposed to be. But the Metamorphosis, great book. It's very different, very left of center. But very, very good book. So I can't remember what the 5 are now. Frankenstein I've just finished. I really enjoyed Frankenstein. I thought it was a really good book. I did sort of find that sometimes the descriptive stuff was a little hard to wade through. But I've only got the one book now. And then next semester I'm doing all the Gothic novels, which I'm really excited about. So the Draculas and Edgar Allan Poe, all those sort of, all of those really good stuffs. But really enjoying uni this time around, I guess, because it's not something I'm sort of aiming for something from. I'm enjoying it because I'm doing what I want to do. So it's really good. Medieval. Okay, Chaucer. Dracula is better than Frankenstein. That's good to know, Moira. You didn't like Metamorphosis. I loved it. I thought it was I really got very, very, if I get interested in something, I want to know everything. So I got really interested in Metamorphosis. So I really dug down into Frank Kafka to really understand who he was. And he was a very, I don't want to say a sad man, but he didn't have a really good upbringing and existence. So I feel like Metamorphosis may be very much almost like a biographical account of his own existence, which was really cool. So in terms of books, literature books that I've really loved, I loved The Handmaid's Tale. If anybody's interested in that book was really good. What else have I got there? Obviously loved James Joyce. He's Australian, isn't he? I read all Neville Shute's books when I was probably about 13, 14, then got into Agatha Christie and read all Agatha Christie's books. Before that, I was really into like Enid Blyton. And The Handmaid's Tale, the woman who wrote that wrote another book that they've made into a story on Netflix, and that is really the interpretation of that is really good. I'm just trying to think of some book. I loved the movie Perfume, and I've just bought the book to have a read of it because I loved the movie so much. I can't even think of half the ones I've got in my bookcase. But if you're interested and you want to know any good books, he's James Joyce. Okay, so he's Irish. I didn't realise that. So if you want to know any good books and you're all into reading good books, maybe we need to have an interactive session on what books to read and what books not. As I said, that whole book with the Heart of Darkness, book club. I want to read the book. Has anybody read Where the Crawdads Sing? Margaret Atwood, She's got another one on Alias Grace, I think it's called, on Netflix. If you watch that, it's superbly done for Netflix. I haven't read the book, but I can definitely recommend the series. I think it was a limited series. But you can have a look for that. But Margaret Atwood, and she's great. I just really like her writing. So The Handmaid's Tale on I don't think it's on Netflix, is actually. The book is good, is it? Excellent. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. When you watch something and you just want more. The Handmaid's Tale on one of the channels. I've watched the first season, but I haven't gone any further. So it's sort of like the first season is like the book. So it'd be interesting to see where it goes. But it's definitely a good concept. Anyway, I better get off. I've got some appointments I need to go to. It's been lovely catching up with you. Thank you for sharing all your book reads and everything. We are lucky to be alive in her lifetime. A lot of people that have written these books, of course, aren't around anymore. The Picture of Dorian Gray, that was one of my favourites. I actually really liked him and his writing. Oscar Wilde. Definitely loved his books and his plays, and I'm a big fan of Shakespeare. So I've read most of Shakespeare's work. But I've also, my favourite thing to do, and we've got one coming up, is I used to go to Shakespeare in the Park when I lived down in Wollongong, and I was lucky enough to see. I think we saw 3. I know King Lear was one of them. But yeah, once you start, I got my daughter into watching it. And I said to her, don't really focus on the language, just allow it to just sort of soak through. It's a bit like subtitles. If you focus on the reading, you miss the movie. If you watch the movie, the subtitles sort of sink in easily. So, yeah, so Shakespeare as well. All right, my favourite Australian author was, well, Neville Shute, but I don't think he was strictly Australian, but he... A Town Like Alice was something that I loved when I was young, and The Pied Piper was another one. But I love Neville Shute's writing too. But I know you're all interested in that. Hey, I'm going to start recommending books on my channel, and maybe we can have a once every couple of months, a bit of a chat about what we've been reading. As I said, nobody's read Where the Crawdads Sing. I'm really interested in reading that one. So if you have any feedback on that or any other books, while I love literature, I don't mind a good novel either. Alrighty, I'll catch up with you soon. Thank you so much for joining with me. Much love to you all. Thank you.